Assalamu alaikum. We'll be writing a code for the simple calculator in Python. So let us first look into the instructions. Create a simple command line calculator that can perform basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Moving on to the outline of the code, we are going to create functions for the four basic arithmetic operations, and then we're going to use the while loop, and later on we're going to use the if, elif, else statements, also known as the conditional statements. So let us move to the command window in order to write the code and run it to look for the output. First of all, we are going to define the variable functions for the arithmetic operations. So let us define the function for addition. We are going to take two variables, any two variables, and this is going to return the sum of the two. Similarly, we are going to create the functions for the other operations like subtraction and multiplication. And lastly, we're going to define a function for the division. We're going to take the two variables as we have taken for the other functions, and for this we know a condition that any number divisible by 0 will give us a math error. So that condition we're going to add here, but using the conditional statement. So we're going to write if y is equal to 0, then this will return math error. And otherwise it is going to return the division of the two numbers. Next, we are going to use the while loop in order to print the few statements as an introductory display of the options to the user. So we're going to add the loop right here. Now we've used the while loop, and if this loop is true, then we are going to display that choose the operation to be performed, and these are the four operations that will be displayed to the user from among which he or she is going to choose the option. Next, in order to take the input from the user for the options we have already given to the user, we are going to define a variable named as let's say user input. And here it goes. So we're going to take the input from the user, then enter the choice from 1, 2, 3 or 4. The user will enter any of the four choices, and then accordingly our program will be run. Next, we are going to create the more variables for taking the input of the number. So for the first number, we are going to create a variable named as first number, and this is going to take the input for the first number. And similarly for the second number, here is the input. Alright, after taking the input from the user for the two numbers, we are going to introduce our conditional statement. So we're going to write for the first option, that is addition, it is going to display something like this. That if the user input is equals to 1, that is addition, then it will be printing the statement. First it will be printing answer, and then we are going to call the function, that is the addition function we had created right here. And this x and y now are replaced by the first number and the second number that the user has input. Alright, similarly we are going to display the statements for the second choice, that is if the input is equals to 2. But for that, sorry, there's an indentation error. But for that, we're going to use elif. So elif, if the user input is equals to 2, similarly, it is going to print first of all answer, and then it is going to call the subtraction function that was created right here. These x and y are now replaced by first number and second number, which were the variables used to take the input from the user. And in a similar way, we are going to move forward with our other two options. So for the other two options, here we go. Similarly, we are going to use elif, and then if the user input is equals to 3, it's going to print answer first and then call the multiply function, and if the user input is 4, it is going to print answer the same way as it has done above and is going to call the divide function. Now all these elif statements are passed, but to close the if statement we are going to add a condition of the else statement. So else, it is going to print a statement right here which is going to say that invalid input. Alright, if the user inputs any of the options or any of the numbers other than these four, then it is going to print invalid input. Alright, so that is it for the code. Now we're going to run it and we'll see what is the output. Let us wait. Alright, so it has displayed choose the operation to be performed: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We're going to choose, let's say I want to perform addition of two numbers. So we're going to enter 1 and now it's asking for the first number. Let's say it's 5 and the second number is 10. The answer is displayed as 15. Alright, the loop, because we had used the loop, so it is running again and again. This time I want to divide any two numbers. Let's say my first number is 7 and my second number this time is 0. I'm going to check the condition I had already punched above. So here it is giving me the math error. This means that the code we had typed was correct. Okay, and looking for the last option of the if else loop, other than these numbers, if I enter any number, let's say 5, it is going to ask first of all for any number. I'm going to enter random numbers and then it's going to display invalid input. Alright, so this is how the code is run. Thank you so much.